had the draft. The draft on Thursday night, over the weekend, Friday, Saturday. We're going to go over the Ravens. We're going to go over the whole league. Hear what happened in the draft. We're going to go over just the first round. We don't have time to go over all 7 rounds, even though I watched most of it. Definitely have my Twitter page up for a lot of it. So we're going to go over the draft as well as see what happened here in the draft in the first round. Lots of good stuff that happened here. Interesting here in the draft. First couple picks are no surprise. Bears took Caleb Williams, made that official. I think I've had that mock the whole time. I don't think there was any question about it that they were going to take him first. Certainly, once they got Justin Fields, it became even more obvious that Caleb Williams was their guy. Commanders, Jaden Daniels. I had that pretty much most of the time there. Possibility they might have liked Drake May, but I thought with the fit there, that was kind of what I thought, that they would go ahead and take Jaden Daniels as well, with Kingsbury and Dan Quinn liking a Jaden Daniels. Drake May, no, it wasn't a big surprise, maybe a little bit. I think maybe they had a little bit of a waffle there. Not a lot, maybe a little consideration, unlike the other two, when it was almost, pretty much almost none. Maybe they were taking McCarthy, but Drake May, they're going to build around him. I think that's the smart move. Rodney Harrison. Marvin Harrison. You could argue he was the best player in the draft. I didn't see any way the Cardinals are going to trade there. Hey, he's going to get Kyler Murray is going to get one of the best young receivers I think I've ever seen. Marvin Harrison, one of the best college receivers. Now the draft kind of started. We kind of suspected it would at 5. Not taking the receiver, Joe Alt. Notre Dame. Joe Alt is really, really good. I think he's kind of being slept on. Joe Alt, every time I saw the videos with Joe Alt, he was just killing guys, just pancaking guys. He was the only one I saw that was consistently getting guys on the ground. That's a thing. That's a guy that's going to be able to go to the next level and do well. If you're consistently pancaking guys all the time, that's a thing. Against good competition and playing at Notre Dame. Malik Neighbors, 6. Maybe the Giants are trying to get a quarterback, but they got Malik Neighbors. I think you could argue one of the best receivers in the draft. Some people thought he was the best. I had him behind Harrison. Hey, look, this is the best receiver Daniel Jones might have ever had. So maybe they wanted a quarterback. Let's see. Let's give Daniel Jones one more year to see if he can kind of turn things around. J.C. Latham, Titans went ahead, took an offensive lineman. Latham is a little higher than I thought, but I think he's a little better than what people think. So I got no problem with them taking J.C. Latham here as well. They definitely needed a tackle. They definitely need to go. They're going to start Will Levis, running back, wide receiver. They're pretty much reset at a lot of those positions. This is the shock. Michael Penix from Washington, 8th pick. Didn't see that coming. Penix really is, I think, a good quarterback. I think in the old NFL, I kind of thought with him that he would be drafted higher because he throws the ball downfield better than anybody of all the picks. I don't buy that you can't take a quarterback with the first pick. I mean, I don't necessarily think that. What a better time to do it, to go ahead and do it when, you're a rookie coach and when you just got there, and, why not do it now when you have a little bit more capital, you have less pressure on you than you do right now. This is much higher than I thought they needed to. That was the criticism more I had than more of the player. They could have probably did this in the second round or possibly did this late in the first. And, they possibly could have got another player in Penix. That was the only problem like that. I think the feel of value is a little off, but I mean, I got no problem with it. I mean, I got no problem with Penix. I mean, Penix definitely might be really good. Rome Odense, best Bears, go ahead and select wide receiver. I think he's the last of the 3 elite receivers. So, hey, look, you get a quarterback, why not take a wide receiver to go with it as well? I always do like that, building the offense around him. And even though they've already done a lot of that already before that, getting Keenan Allen, etc. So, Bears offense, is this going to be the best we've ever seen from the Bears? This is the Bears, Central Division, old Central Division defense, etc. We'll see how they actually look. J.J. McCarthy goes at 10, not 11, from Michigan. I think this is the one I think is way too high. McCarthy, I think, is a second, third round, but again, desperation for quarterbacks. A couple of these teams, I think the Vikings and the Broncos were the two most desperate. I do get it though. I mean, I understand it. I mean, they did get a second round pick for a reason. They did have to move up. They moved up one just to make sure that probably were worried about Denver moving up. So that's why they went ahead and moved up a little bit here. Old fashioned Penn State for the Jets had the Jets taking a lineman. Not a surprise. I thought they might take Brock Bowers, but hey, they got two veteran tackles. They got Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith, and now you got a young guy going forward that you can build around on the offensive line. No real problem. And I like Fashanu. Fashanu, I think, is very, very unique. Some people kind of didn't get it. I think he's a very, very good pass blocker going forward. Bo Nix, Denver. For some reason, this surprised people, not me. Look, they just traded for Zach Wilson and had Jared Stidham. Yeah, you're taking a quarterback. Also, too, in this case, that was it. Penix went early. So I thought maybe if you wanted that might have been an option or a thought. He was gone too. So I don't think they had a choice. I think sometimes draft people kind of kill the value thing. You can kind of beat that to death. Sometimes it is okay to take what you need. If you need, especially if you need it really bad, which was obvious there, you need a quarterback. Brock Bowers, the Raiders. Yeah, you never know what the Raiders are going to do. They just took a tight end early last year. I know why they did it. This was the best player on the board for sure. Bowers, you could have had in the top 5, top 10. So I know why they did it, even though they didn't need it. But the Raiders, you never know, man. you never know. This one I wasn't as high on, even though I like the player Bowers. Flaga, no surprise here for the Saints offensive tackle. For the New Orleans Saints, he is going to probably start at right tackle. Ryan Ramczyk might retire. Some issues there. First defensive player, all 14, the first 14 on offense, and Lalutu is the first defensive player for the Colts. I love him. I love him. The medical issues probably, I don't think they hurt him as much as they thought. He was the first defensive player off the board. This is typical Colts, taking a guy's speed on the outside. I've noticed that with the Colts. A lot of speed guys. This is a speed guy. I think he is the best speed pass rusher in the draft. Byron Murphy for the Seattle Seahawks. Mike McDonald. Hey, what did he do last year? Who did he have last year? Justin Matabuke on the end. I don't know if Brian Murphy is Matabuke, building that defense out exactly the way he wants it. Best D tackle on the board, probably in this draft. Defensive tackle is never that sexy, but it's hey, I understand. You see where he's trying to go there for the Seahawks. Vikings, Dallas Turner for the Alabama, formerly now the Alabama Crimson Tide. Dallas Turner and J.J. McCarthy, not bad. Not bad at all for the Vikings. Vikings definitely need it. He can go on the other side. He can go on the other side there for them on their defense. He's a good defensive. I think he's a sure bet. I don't know if he's a super stud in the Bosa Watt area, but I think he's a solid starter for a long time. I think that's why he went with Lutu. I don't think he has as much upside as he does. Amarius Mims, the tackle situation with the Bengals is bad. So they went ahead and took Amarius Mims there as well. Not a bad pick. Lots of upside, a little green. Got to coach him up a little bit. Jared Verse, defensive line, I think makes a lot of sense for the Rams. A lot of the offense they had already got last year. They were able to hit on some low picks with Karen Williams, Puka Nacua. They still have Matt Stafford there. They still have Cup, some guys there. So they needed help on defense, particularly defensive line. Verse, I think, best pass rusher on the board. I think there were really only 3 really good ones in round 1. First went about 19. That's about right. Late first round. Troy Fattenu, the Steelers. Yeah, the Squealers. I almost don't even want to say they draft better than the Ravens, but you know what they do that the Ravens don't do is they pick what they need early. They don't. I'm gonna get into the Ravens picking all that, but they always pick what they need early. Then later on, they kind of do the best player thing. But if they need something, rarely do you see the Steelers miss. They needed a tackle in the first round, guard tackle. They went ahead and they got that to go along with Broderick Jones. He's probably going to play on the right side, and they got Zach Frazier. They needed a center belly, so they really worked on their offensive line here as well. Chop Robinson. I didn't love him. I didn't love him as much. This is a good athlete. You got to see sometimes these guys got to be coached up being in the right place. Had he went to like the Niners or the Ravens or something like somebody who's notoriously getting guys to do that, but I don't know. Dolphins, we'll see. He's a phenomenal athlete. I didn't like the production aspect. Quinyon Mitchell went as the first corner off the board. 22 for the Eagles. Eagles badly needed corner. Yeah. Darius Slay, Mayberry did not get it done last year. So getting a young corner was definitely a thing that they needed to do. Jaguars move up, get Brian Thomas for LSU. So this was the last, I think, of the for sure first rounders here. I don't know where I'm gonna put the Jaguars here. Even they had a bunch of holes. Every time I mocked the Jags, I looked at it, and man, they need a wide receiver. They could use a corner. They could use a tackle. They could use. I'm not sure what they could do to get them over the top. They got some issues. Not a bad pick though. Thomas, I think, has a lot of potential. Good. The last of the for sure first round receivers here. Terrion Arnold for the Lions. Lions, I think, our team may be on their way to the Super Bowl. Got a lot of potential. They're in that Super Bowl bubble. They definitely needed help at corner. They got to be thrilled to take Terrion Arnold. No way they thought he was going to be there this late. I had him as the number one corner. A lot of teams might have had him as the number one corner. That makes a lot of sense. Jordan Morgan, typical Packer type pick. Another team that develops real well. Offensive tackle. They don't take wide receiver. They get in the trenches. They take a guy, Bakhtiari and all the issues there. So they go ahead and take a guy that's tailor-made for them, Jordan Morgan. Graham Barton, offensive guard, Duke. I saw Barton moving up and up and up during this process. I had him saw him like a second, third. He kind of steadily moved up, and I think it is the versatility that he has. A lot of run on and tackles a guard, so I definitely could see him as a guard. I like him better. I think he might play a little bit of tackle. He kind of reminds me of Pat McCarry, with his skills there, skill set that he has. Darius Robinson went off the board there, so a lot of the pass rushers are gone. They went ahead and went defense. Darius Robinson, one of the top defensive tackles there. Understand it. Definitely, they went offense earlier, so they go defense here. Xavier Worthy traded up. So the Bills moved out of the first round. They traded out twice, and they let Xavier Worthy. A lot of people killed him for it. I get it. They needed players. Why not take? I understand why you want Worthy. Why some of the fans wanted Worthy, but I get it. I mean, I don't think it was a bad trade at all. Going and making that trade. Tyler Guyton goes to the Dallas Cowboys. Makes sense. They definitely needed line help. I mean, for sure. I don't think Jerry Jones likes necessarily taking tackles and things like that early. I know he likes those skill guys early. I would say he's familiar with them. Oklahoma and all that, and the Cowboys have a long history of play. He's definitely he's getting somebody he knows. He's not going to be meeting him for the first time and seeing him play for the first time when he arrives at Cowboy Stadium. The Ravens, Nate Wiggins. No way I thought Nate Wiggins was going to be here. No way. I was really surprised, but you see, 14 players on offense went first. A lot of guards, tackles, etc. Even later than that, pushed a lot of good defensive players down, and Nate Wiggins was one of them. They didn't take their biggest need, so I can already hear it in the comments and this thing. But I don't. You got to take a guy like this. You got to take a guy like this. We'll go over it more as well. Two surprises at the end. Well, one was a bit of a surprise. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver of Florida, a little higher than I had him, than I thought he would be. I had him like second round. They could take him at the end of the first round. The other thing is, what does this mean for Deebo Samuel and or Brandon Ayuk that you're taking a wide receiver in the first round? So could they be ready to move off one of these guys, and could a trade still be in play? Maybe not the Ravens or whatever, but somewhere as well. Xavier Legette, I've seen that mocked a lot at 33. Panthers moved up one with the Bills 32. Probably, I'm thinking if you move up one, this is one that's a big one in terms of money. The Bills didn't want to pay it, and they wanted more picks. The Panthers did want to pay it because you get the fifth-year option right here at the 32nd pick. So that's the last of that. So if they get their guy that they want, they get to have the fifth-year option where the Bills now don't have to pay it because they have cap issues, etc. They didn't want, they get to move down and get an extra pick. So there you go. The draft.